I've got my best gloves, especially for this event.
Ooh.
Yeah. All we're doing is just demonstrating the ABC of the double hip. So before anybody wants to get on the front foot, Twitter, write, email, Instagram, this is, as I said before, this is a demonstration of a wheel going around at 4 miles an hour, but it can still go around at 400 miles an hour if we want it to. So, but with any big movement, when it comes to a tactical, practical situation, the big movement is chopped down because we need to make it faster. But the elements of it are still there. Okay, so all we're trying to do is a couple of things. We're trying to move away from having a central axis where we're turning into a technique on, if you like, the basic principle that a revolving door would be in a hotel or an office block that you're familiar with. So if I go through a revolving door and I push it, with 20 pound of weight, 20 pound is coming back through the revolving door the other way. That's the same principle when we pull back with this hikite on this side in karate. We're just pulling on a central axis, we're pulling the weight back. There's no other sport, whether it would be throwing a stone, a shot put, that would turn the hip at the same time, so you're turning the hip, the shoulder and the hand at the same time to get the strike, and let this side come back. And the classic one really is that photograph of a javelin before it's released. So from here you've got this bow effect, which in sort of athletic terms is that C shape. So you've got the weight coming forward, just balanced on that foot before it falls over, hollow back, head high, shoulder taking the torque with a QUE at the end of the body weight translating to the javelin. And the javelin's the last thing to go. In martial arts, because we feel we have to get these weapons and tools on, these are the first things to go. And we tend to go too fast, which means we're using white twitch muscle fibre with a 5 kilo arm, not an 85 kilo mass, which is what we want here. Okay. So even though we might speed it up, we should still be getting a good transfer of body weight. So from here, when we're teaching this, I try and teach people to think about a wheel on the side of the body with an axle, a pin coming out here. So my hand is on a rim, and as I do the double hip, which has two parts to it, one, it whips back, but two, my weight is transferring to the front foot. And I'm now moving to a hinge on this side, which is like any normal door, single door with 3 hinges. There's a hinge, here's a hinge, and there's a hinge in the shoulder. And now I'm going to rotate my body weight forward almost to the point of falling over. So I'm whipping my body weight forward, but I'm not yet released the arm. The body weight is now transferring through the shoulder into this as a piston. And what we want to try and do is try and make the physics correct, so that if I'm punching here, I don't want to punch up from this position. I want to bring this round like a piston, okay, here. And this is the wheel, whereas I whip the hip back, this is allowed to go round on the wheel comes up, and now when this gets level with here, it can slip off the pin that's holding it. So just very easy. Bit more. Okay.
Absolutely. I could not
Stop.
do this for a long.
Stop.
Yeah.
And you see how easy it should be. And one of the problems in self-defense is that when you've got martial artists, in self-defense in the street, you're caught like this. So I can't start doing this. Here, this is as good as it gets. The beauty of this is good, because if you put that back again, please, Rokas. So if and this is the problem, again, it's going to be controversial, locking that foot back just doesn't work. So if this is feudal Japan, and I'm in a battle, and I'm a foot soldier with a great big pike, and I've got a mounted samurai on a horse, I'm going to dig that back foot in because I want the stability. If I want my body weight to go forward, then that has to come up. It has to lift to allow my weight to go forward. That, like we'd be saying to a golfer, oh, when you do this, make sure you lock your heel on the floor. There's just, that heel has to come up to allow this turning action. So this stance, where we get caught in the street, is actually the best one to have, because it allows us to get this through here. The moment we get in a stance where we do this and this hip breaks, the moment that leg bends and this hip breaks, if I bend the leg, hip breaks, now that's where the weakness comes, and we end up with that central axis again. So again, just once more, just nice and easy, heavy weight, double hip. Feel it. Shorter, centre mass, shorter, a bit longer, more weight, and then because I'm taking my weight forward, I can follow you
Right.
with the next one.
Right.
So I commit the body weight to here, and then follow you
Right.
and help you down, or whatever. Okay. So that's just a.
Right.
But it can get faster, can get tactical, can get shorter, can get deceitful, but the principle has to be the same. Weight here, body weight, body weight, body weight, body weight, whatever we're using.
And one question, which we talked about, but
Yeah.
so the audience might be interested about that as well. The targets.
Yes.
I've used before.
Yep.
Usually it's a lot about chin or.
Yeah. So if you look at my options, we're always. So if I'm here and I've got this person who I think is going to kick off, and he's like you, fit, quite strong, obviously got strong abs, that makes no difference because the weight's going to go through that. But you've got this just a t-shirt on. So I know you've got no protection that will absorb anything. So this for me would be the option. Straightforward, piston here, straightforward, piston. If I'm caught square, or you're heavily dressed, I won't do that because I'll slap. So that would be the power slap. And that would just be from here when I'm talking to you. I might wave this hand for distraction and hit you here, might have this one. But that's all again about moving my centre of mass from the centre to here. So I'd say to you, oh, forget this. Sorry, and then that would be bang. But it would have all the weight to it. So that would just be a knockout. It's guaranteed. It comes with a guarantee. Yeah.
That's maybe something which would be good to say to the audience as well. About there's a common misconception that a slap is not as powerful as a fist, and that's just not true, right?
Twice as powerful.
Right.
Because it's circular to start with. So if you think about a punch, that's a human construct. We're turning something that was never meant into a punch. This has got a joint, it's weak. So the power really that we generate is off a circle. The most natural power. So if you look at Chinese systems that have that real heavy weight, you'll find it's a circular action that's bringing that whipping action with a weight. So the most powerful action is a circular action. Also with the slap, so if you get your knuckles, just get a punch, and just punch me on the head. Punch me, yeah. Punch me. No, hard. Harder. Right, harder. Ah, so I'm feeling that, but I'm feeling it because there's a square millimetre that's passing information, and I've got a square millimetre that's accepting it. So I go, oh, that hurts. If I slap you with the whole of the palm, on that, the amount of information that's passed is phenomenal. So if you listen to this, that isn't skin on skin. That is the air exploding. And that's what happens on the side of the face. It's like a hand grenade. So it's like you pulled a pin out with a hand grenade. and they'd just go unconscious. The beauty of it is that they collapse from the knees. You don't push them over. Once you hit, the knees go and they'll drop straight down. So you're not knocking them into things. That's one again of that safety factors of it. Other things obviously sweeps, leg hits. So, you know, if you've got very tall people, you can just come under the guard or under where they are and just that leg hit. So you felt this yourself, haven't you? Where that, and that's very light, but yeah, if it's hard, it completely fires off all the nerves in the leg. So, so we'll just do the slap. Yeah. So how we train the slap is here, and we assume. So this is the target, but now I'll make this the target. So if you just move the fingers out of the way, Rokas. And what we do to make sure that we're disabling the hands so that we're not doing this, which you'd see, even people in Manchester where I come from will spot that. So, okay, so this has to come up, turn a corner over the shoulder and then hit the air. So all we're going to do is flick this out and move our body weight from here to here with that. Feel it?
Oh, absolutely.
So that's just weight. That's just Chinese heavy hand, slight bit of double hit, transfer of weight, recoil, relaxation, circular action. So that here, yeah, that just stops them. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's anything else specific.
Yeah, no, then of course all this feeds into back to martial arts. So this can all fit into karate, fits into kickboxing. We haven't got time, maybe some other time we'll talk about how we get what we call overlapping transitions and combinations, how we dynamically use the two hemispheres of the body. So as we were mentioning before we started the filming, that the end of one technique should never be. The end of one technique is the start of the next one. We borrow what we have at the end to start the next technique. We don't have a combination of, say, 4 techniques that we're doing on pads where it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just one flowing technique because we've overlapped the transitions between each one by utilising the end of one to give us the dynamic for the next one, whether it's a kick to a punch, punch to a kick, punch to a punch. So if you look at, we won't do it, but if we were working on pads, sorry, so if you look at the double hip, where we get this hip to here, it doesn't stop. So when I hit with this first one, that hip's already moving for the hook. So from here, then it's already moved in for the hook. So,
yeah, I can imagine
so this has already moved. So that would be, and that, so my hip's taken away. This hasn't yet hit, but it's rolling off this. And then it might come to another one. Yeah. So from here, and then that here. Right. And that's then,
very powerful hook as
yeah,
well.
same principle. And then from here, if the person's still there, it's the third one. So it would roll, 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 roll,